right. So, last night of the trip, we wanted to talk a little bit about highlights and lowlights. Uh, I think highlights for me, I'll just kind of start off if you don't mind. I think was
Go for it.
Did you say highlight or low light? Highlight. Okay. It was definitely just the climbing, and I was actually kind of really surprised at my performance.
Yeah.
You're climbing strong, but I think that when you left uh, Wyoming, I was pretty much broken down and completely exhausted. And then, a month later, or however long it was, you came out. I felt fully recovered.
Yeah.
And I felt strong. So
Took a month, huh?
yeah, I'm gonna have to start climbing a month off, a month on, a month off.
I like that schedule.
But no, I felt like I climbed really well. You're climbing phenomenally. I'm just happy to be able to get up stuff after you climb it. So climbing was definitely a highlight for me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I agree with that. I mean, you were getting up 11s in Wyoming, but now you're flashing 11s.
On TR.
Well, still, I mean, you're still not hanging on them to get up them. So your climbing's improved since we started climbing this season tremendously. I mean, remember what we started off on. So, let's see. I think one highlight, Graveside Matters Wall is always a highlight.
Today, Brian and I are going to check out and climb at an area called Cedar Canyon Graveside Matter. And we're going to be going down to this area called the Lower Tier. You excited?
I am excited today.
Mishka, you excited? All right.
I love that wall. I don't know what it's like sandstone like, but it's limestone. Huge holds overhung. So I think working on those 211s on that was fun. I had a lot of fun those couple days. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Double back.
Yep.
Through both.
Yep.
That looks good.
Coming from me.
Yep.
The sharp end. A lot.
Oops.
See the gear on the
Double back. Gear. Anchors. Chalk bag. Shoes. Tied. Tight.
Tie climbing mat.
Tight climbing mat. Check. Over here. Thank you.
One draw on the left, and 3 or 4 on the right.
Thanks. I just realized that myself. Really hard to see. Okay, take. Thanks.
All right, so I'm doubled. I'm through both.
Yep.
I'm knotted.
Yep.
We got anchors.
Wouldn't unclip each other. Good side. Through the rope, through the device. Beamer's locked. Beamer's through the buoy loop.
Yep.
Harness is still back.
All right. Oh boy. Okay. On belay.
Blaze on.
Climbing. All feet. All feet. Okay. Damn it. Ah! Guilt. Whew. All right, Brian, take. Okay. Damn, that was a slugfest.
It's rough.
Yeah, those are the things that'll stick out. The also the discovering the limestone climbing out here in Red Rocks has been eye-opening. Those big long routes that we did on Potosi Mountain those were fun. This last couple of days of climbing here, that's kind of what climbing's all about. Just big long routes. You have no idea what's up there. You can't even see the anchors, but you just start climbing.
Yeah.
Those are pretty satisfying because you don't know what you're getting into really.
Yeah, it's a little more adventurous. You can't just like see the first bolt and see the shots like 40 feet up.
But they also went down easy. They were like fun climbs. We didn't struggle on those, that's always satisfying.
Okay, today we're going climbing in an area called Mount Potosi.
Yeah.
It's a limestone area. Is that correct?
Yes, sorry.
Unpolished limestone. Not a lot of traffic. It seems like we're just outside of Red Rocks, Nevada, but we both thought that because today is a Sunday, that the Red Rocks area, like the scenic loop and the whole area, would be just overrun, not just with climbers, but with general, weekend tourists. So we're going back to Mount Potosi. We went on Thursday or Friday?
What's today? Sunday?
Sunday.
Took Saturday off, Friday.
And we climbed a really nice 510, like 80 feet, 85 foot climb.
Yeah, 80 foot, 10B.
Okay. And today we're going we've got a couple of climbs. There's another 10 there, and then there's an 11. So the drive into Mount Potosi is actually kind of like a really interesting 4-wheel drive, necessary road, in my opinion, or high clearance. All right, so we're coming up on the is this called Mount Potosi Road or something like that? Or
I think it's Mount Potosi Canyon Road. If we're pronouncing Potosi right. Could be Potosi. Look, somebody's on there.
Potosi. All right, so this is the comedy area. It looks like there's some people here doing something. But we're going in. Hold on one second. Not that I'm gonna need this, but I'll reset the tripometer, and we're gonna go 3.7 miles down this road.
about to start the steep part of the ascent. All right. Well, what's that say? That says Jim. Doesn't say Mr. Let's see. No, I didn't give you permission to get up. No. I gotta break off a little bite. What do you think? Oh, that's a peanut butter crunchy. You're silly. You're silly. You're so silly. I think she likes it. You left the little crunchies down there. You left some little crunchies. You should be full now. Uh-oh.
Heard that, huh?
That sounds like a Cliff Bar package.
You heard that,
A
huh?
peanut butter.
Stay.
It's called Story Crag. Story Crag main wall. I think there's two walls up there, and the trail goes right up to Story Crag main wall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
science
it's-
wall down Clippers Left. Little ways.
That was really good. Really, really good. Like between 85 and 100-foot pitches.
Yeah.
On climbs.
Well, yeah, one of the climbs there is 160 feet. It's a 200-foot crag, so it's just a matter of where they put the anchors. So the first day we were there, we did Little Mochi, 80 feet, 3 stars, 10B. That was really good.
Yeah. Very,
And then the second day we were there, we wanted to do Kentucky Kid, which is a 3-star 11A, but there was a couple guys camped out down there, so we wound up doing Hop on Pop Pop. It's 130-foot 10D 2 stars, but we bailed at there's a bail off set of anchors, so we only had a 60-meter rope. And then from that anchors that you bail off of, the anchors are for Colts Neck, which is a 75-foot 11A. That was really nice. That was the one we top roped.
yeah.
But I would like to go back and Red Point at some point. It was really nice climbing.
Both really nice climbs. And we started thinking that if Colts Neck was a 1-star 11A,
Yeah.
then Kentucky Kid as a 3-star 11A must be
Great.
amazing.
Really good climbing.
Yeah, we'll get back there and get that one sometime.
For sure.
Yeah, climbing is definitely highlights, but some other highlights for me are like dinners. Like we always seem to have pretty amazing dinners.
Yeah.
Fajitas were amazing.
Brian, what do we have on the menu tonight?
Beef and broccoli
So we
was
have,
amazing.
we're going to do a chicken broccoli stir fry.
Caramelized pork.
Yeah, we've definitely eaten well. All 3 of those things. And I think we had the simplest thing we had was last night when we just baked chicken breasts, but it was still good.
Chicken
Yeah.
breasts and baked potatoes.
Yeah, that was probably the simplest meal. We put together the pot stickers. That was a good find.
Wow, those were good.
Too bad we're out of those, or I'd be making more right now.
Yeah.
And then
The
finally-
breakfast that we made, breakfast burritos, the night after we had the fajitas.
Yeah, those were delicious.
Those were good.
Yeah, I think those fajitas. The first time we had fajitas, that was probably the best meal we had out here. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was definitely comfort food. But yeah, we always find ourselves like sometime around the middle to end of the day talking about what we're gonna have for dinner.
Yeah.
Talking about what we have in the fridge and what we could make.
So what do you want for dinner tonight?
That's actually a good question because we've made all the salmon. What's defrosted in the refrigerator right now?
there's much left frosted. Got corn.
Yeah, we'll definitely have corn. We've got potatoes, which we have to use because they might go bad.
Protein. That's a question mark. I don't know what's in the refrigerator right now.
Yeah, I think the only thing in the fridge is, I think that there's one more pork tenderloin and there's a chuck roast.
Okay.
And either one of those we could defrost or just cook a little more.
Pork tenderloin sounds good to me. I know it's easy to do. Chuck roast. Do you usually eat the chuck roast, or is that just for Mishka?
I make it for Mishka, and I usually find something. I find something to eat with it.
Okay.
You know, something to make with a little bit. Yeah, maybe we could have pork tenderloin, corn. I don't know if potatoes would go well with that, like baked potatoes.
If we each get a huge slab of the pork tenderloin like we did the other night, that and the corn is gonna be plenty.
Okay.
That was awesome. It's like protein max.
All right. Sounds good.
We never really had any big issues on this trip, which was nice. We had little niggling things that were annoying, like being in the wrong place with the wrong weather. That 1 week where we felt like we were chasing the weather around here, we were there, and then we couldn't find a good place by Limestone Kiln, and that was aggravating because that place looked amazing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't it wasn't an issue. We just kept plowing forward. We wound up here finding Potosi Mountain, which I didn't know existed. And it always works out. But I think it's hard to call it a low light because nothing we did was bad. But those crags that Brian had those little shitty chassis, hiking all the way up there and finding nothing but a choss pile with 35-foot routes. That was really aggravating.
All right, Brian and I are here climbing in southwest Utah. We're around the St. George area in Hurricane by Gooseberry Mesa. And today we're going to be going to climb in an area called Brian Head. And the first area that we're going to check out is this area down here called the Overlook. So we'll check that out today. You excited?
Oh yeah, this is me being excited.
Mishka, are you excited? She's excited. Okay.
This could be it.
See that? It says 16-day camping limit. We could have been camping right up here. Mishka, what do you think?
Parking area. I'm assuming we're going down this trail, and the climb that I want to start on the starting block.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like that's right down there.
Should be. I didn't feel surprised at any of the spots that we checked out here. And I think that's why we wound up on the good stuff, is because the descriptions in the guidebook were honest, basically. And we didn't go to the ones that he said, hey, this rock sucks. Don't, basically there was a description that said the rock is not good. So why the hell would we go there?
Those two that you said were good were written by the same guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the both areas in Brian Head that we went to were kind of a pain in the ass to either find or get to.
I'm just going to take a quick video to document this. This approach trail. What's the name of this place?
Running Scared.
Running Scared. Okay, so here's a
Running Scared
a cairn. Back there, there's a cairn. There's no discernible trail, but right over there is a cairn. So let's go play find the next cairn. Over here. And then over here. All right, here's the next cairn. Now where's the next cairn? Ah, right there. There's the next cairn. All right. Ready? Let's go. Did you cross that log? Well, I'll be honest with you, that dark tower part is the part that looks the most interesting.
But one good thing about that is that we were able to find some really good boondocking, RV boondocking sites.
Yeah, there was always a.
I never knew that any of that was up there. So that was amazing.
In the days we went up there, the weather was fantastic, and that's why we went up there, because it's at 10,000 feet. It was really, really hot down in the flats, which is why, we got out of the heat those days, which was half the point, but it just would have been nice to know that we were heading into a Chaucy, like Hinkley height in crag.
Our 4-whip sledges. So we tried to think outside the box and explore a couple of different options, but we just decided. We decided to
come down here,
Yeah. Okay.
explore this area, which I'm glad we did.
Yeah. So part of my plan was to try to get us down here to explore Red Rocks and the surrounding area. Mount Charleston is closed because of the flooding. It's supposed to be closed for a year. But so yeah, we went to the climbing shop. We picked up the Red Rocks book. We picked up the Mojave Limestone book, and we started looking around. We went climbing the first day. We went climbing in first day we were here, which was either Thursday or Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Went climbing in Red Rocks. We went to the scenic loop. We went to the third parking area
Till Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
And then we did a pretty short hike up to where the first climbing area was. And the rock there was, I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
And then the next day, we were talking about going back into. So before I go on to the next day, I just want to document a couple of things about the reservation system. So the reservation system is kind of tricky. You're supposed to go online to get a check-in to the scenic loop. And it also says that if you have an annual national park pass, you don't have to pay the $20 entrance fee. You just have to pay the $2 per vehicle, like reservation fee or little entrance fee for reserving a slot to get in, a time slot to get in. But we basically like went online and we couldn't figure out how to get the reservation without paying the $20. So we were just like, forget it. We're just going to drive up there. We're going to wait in line. We're going to drive to the entrance and I'm going to show my national park annual pass. And so we got there and the guy was just like, okay, I just need $2 from you. And we were able to get in to the scenic loop.
Yeah, I was
So-
just looking for the name of the crag and the climbs we did real quick so you can remember where they are. Wake Up Wall, it was called. We wanted to do Firstborn, which was a 10B, and then Shut Up and Climb, Just Shut Up and Climb, which is a 2-star 11A, which were both occupied the entire time we were there. So we wound up moving down to Wake Up Wall right. And there's 4 really nice, I mean, they're slabby, but they're really nice 10A 9s. Those are the 4 climbs we did. We did 21 through 24. Last Drag, Blame It on My ADD, Fall of Vegas, and Skidmark. Skidmark was the first one we did. Because it's got that that black shit streak right down the.
I was so depressed when
Yeah.
we went back, you could look out, you could see Red Rocks and it was beautiful, but we basically went back into this little small, almost like a slot canyon. But the good thing about it was nobody else was back there.
Yeah, and it was shady. So
Yeah.
check.
Okay, and so so then we were looking through the second book, the limestone book, and we saw that between here and Red Rocks, by the way, we're camped in Lovell Canyon, dispersed camping, and so that's right off of, I think it's 160, right? It's 160.
Yes.
59 is so
Yeah.
it's off 160 between Vegas and Pahrump. And if you go out here to 160 and you take a left before you get down to the bottom of the hill into where you hook up with 159 to go left into Red Rocks, there's a Mount Potosi Canyon Road,
Yep.
right? And you can take a right on that, and if you drive up about 4 miles, 3.7 miles back there, there's parking to get up to.
It's called Story Crag, for sure.
So today is Monday, and Brian is flying out tomorrow. So today our initial plan was to go do one more day of climbing at Red Rocks.
Those guidebooks.
Those are nice guys.
Yeah, it's really nice. Thanks, man.
But we started thinking about the logistics. Like I got an early check-in at the RV park, the Oasis RV park for tomorrow, which is only about 12 minutes away from the airport. We started thinking about the logistics of doing a lot of things today and then trying to get the RV ready to move early tomorrow. So we'll probably want to be out of here by between 8:15 and like between 8 and 8:30, maybe 8:15.
Yeah, to get down there by 9
Yeah.
ish.
We'll get down there at 9. Brian will go take a shower at the shower house. I'll get the RV set up, and then I'll work for a little bit while Brian does laundry. And then at 1, we'll take you to the airport, drop you off at the airport.
It's a good plan, solid plan. Yeah, I think it was a good idea to not try to squeeze in climbing today.
So have you looked through the book? What about areas that I think that you and I, we both really liked Graveside Matters. We both really liked Lime Kiln Canyon.
Yep.
We both really liked Story Wall at Mount Potosi.
Yep.
And we both like Red Rocks, but we've only dusted the surface of that.
I mean,
But what about areas that we haven't gotten to yet?
man, I don't know. There's this Mojave Limestone guidebook is loaded with stuff, but I've read all 3 of these guidebooks. I've read cover to cover at this point. I think we found the good spots. I think Lime Kiln Canyon has got weeks of climbing for us in our grade, on our range, which is great. Graveside Matters, unfortunately, I think we almost have that climbed down, but I bet you there's 2 more days of climbing there. Maybe if we decide to work on the 12, we might go back a few times to try to get it, but and then Potosi Mountain, as good as it is, again, I bet you I think we said if we did a 2-day on, 1-day off cycle, we would probably climb it out at our grade in about a week and a half. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that you got any more highlights or lowlights?
No, I'm probably sure I'll think of some later after we shut the camera off, but I think that those are the big ones. One thing after the other. That's just my mom texting. Still coming in tomorrow at 10:30.
Tell your mom I said hi.
We gotta be what, around 7,000 feet right now.
The base of the crag is 6,600.
Out of breath because of the altitude, right?
Yeah, it's totally the altitude. What are we at? 15,000 feet?
15 to 20, somewhere between there.
Yeah, the climbing on this climbing trip was a big highlight.
Ishka, you see those? I've never seen sheep before.
Those fluffy puppies? Mishka, stay. Mishka, come here.